Hello.
Hello. Oh, that's my water.
Whoa.
Not a fart.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you.
Could have been. I mean, I could.
I'm gonna try to get situated here.
Yeah, we're not. Oh, jeez.
Hello.
Hello. Everybody.
So we're a couple minutes
halfway
early.
off the
Sorry,
screen.
but hi, Cynthia. So we're Dawn and Kyle, and
That's the truth.
that's all we got. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. We're done. Have a nice night.
So we were doing like a little marriage series. Also, we have 2 videos, so if we look up and down, that's why.
Top is Facebook, bottom is YouTube.
Yeah.
Find our YouTube in the comments later on.
Yeah, and we were doing some marriage series thing for a while.
Yeah.
And then life got really hard.
Life got to be life.
Life got to be life. And so we'll talk about that in just a second. But if you guys are watching, you can share our video, comment while we're talking because we want to hear from you. Good, bad, questions, whatever.
We'll look at it, hopefully, maybe.
Sometimes we get derailed with questions. So,
Shiny things.
and if you're watching this on the replay, let us know you're watching on the replay.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I said, we took a little break because a few reasons.
No, first off, I've had terrible teeth for many, many years, and I said this in one of our videos was that we were gonna have some issues probably because of I didn't know how that was gonna go.
Looks bad.
And I like your glasses.
I do too, but it has a glare, so.
Whatever. So I had the surgery. I have new teeth. They're pretty. They're
And that's
great.
been a big transition.
There also been body things that have happened possibly because of the surgery that have made life difficult. So we took a break because of that. And
you can pray for
'cause
Kyle. His whole body hurts everywhere, and we're not really
all of
sure
the
what
things.
that's about. So, yeah. So we've been busy, like November, December. Like I've had in January. It was
and the holidays. We went through that.
Yeah, it's been a long time because we've
Thank
been
you,
very
Cynthia.
busy. And honestly, too, guys, like we've had some real marriage stuff going on. I think we did address this in the last one that we did, or the one before that. So,
Hi, Tara.
but you know, we both started therapy separately, which has been really good.
It's been good. It's been very good.
Yeah. So it's been a little bit of just like trying to get on our feet as far as like
I think
our
a
marriage.
good portion of it was we didn't feel comfortable going live and trying to help people with their marriages when our marriage wasn't the best.
Yeah.
When it wasn't working the way we wanted it to work, and it wasn't effective for us to continue doing it, the live, until we worked on it. We've gotten into a better place. We're by no means perfect or fixed, and we'll keep working. But at least now we're in a spot where we think, okay, now we can start talking about that. And
Stop hitting the table.
I can't help it. My hands move.
He doesn't know
I
what to do
speak like
with
this.
his hands.
So put them down here. So our part of our the subject matter tonight is exactly that: what to do when you don't want to say nice things, when you don't want to be lovey-dovey, when you aren't having a good time, when marriage isn't perfect. What you do then?
Yeah.
Go
I feel like you should move over just a smidge.
Wait, telling me what to do.
Yeah, so
Dancing.
we'll just get into it. We're going to try to keep this at 15-20 minutes at the most because we know you guys have things to do, and we don't want to keep you too long. So 9 things to avoid when marriage gets tough.
Obviously, don't make a huge life-altering decision. Don't let your emotions lead you. Don't put yourself into a bad position. Don't ever get yourself into a position where the next thing you're going to say is, well, what do I do now? When you feel trapped, when you can't stand the sight of your spouse's face, don't make that decision. What do you got?
Yeah. Don't decide like in that moment when everything is really, really shitty. Excuse me.
Oh, she said a naughty word. Watch out.
I mean, I'm just being real.
It's
When
true.
things get really, really hard, don't make a decision that you're leaving. Like you're just done. You're throwing in the towel. Like sleep on it. Talk to a friend. Whatever. And we'll get to the talking to a friend in a little bit.
Yours.
Don't gossip about your spouse. This, I think we've addressed this a couple times in other things, because it's so important though. Women especially love to talk, and there's nothing wrong with talking, but you just got to find your tribe. You got to find the people that, like, when you talk to them, it's not a husband bashing. I could have easily gone to some friends after some things happened, and I could have just like ripped him to shreds. He could probably do the same with me, but like it's so easy to fall into that. Like, I just want you to hear what I have to say, and I need you to wallow with me and tell me he's a jerk. And it's like, how is that really helping the situation? It's not.
Come sit in my misery.
Yeah.
And for guys, it's no different. I can go over to my buddies, have a couple of beers, and explain how much of a nag someone is, right? That's not fair. Because if you can't respect your wife outside of the home, then it's not very likely you're doing it inside the home, right?
And also, like, I read in a book.
You read books?
Years ago, Proper Care and Feeding of Your Husband. She
Yeah.
talks about how a husband, his reputation is extremely important to him.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
like, so that's just a big thing for men. Like, don't rip him to shreds. Don't, because that's wrong. So
It's not fair. What was that?
my
Did you
chair,
break it?
my
Don't
chair
break it.
moved. I'm fine. Okay. So anyway, so that's that.
Don't say the meanest words you can imagine. So through our therapy, so we've had a test. Dawn said we started once each, or we started with ourselves, and then most recently, I asked her to come into one of my sessions and talk to my therapist about things that maybe I'm leaving out, or things she recognizes she's worried about that I haven't
Just
talked
fill in the
about.
gaps.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the things we've talked about how we fight. We fight through text messages, or this time it was emails, where it was a very long discussion, very detailed discussion about what our hurts were, what our problems were, and what we needed to do with those things. And I shared that with my therapist with her permission. And when she came in, that was one of the things my therapist said was, you guys fight nice.
Really nice.
Like, you're not calling each other names, you're not degrading each other, you're not bashing each other, you're not going to
not
the low points.
Digging deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to cut them.
Yeah, and that's
Just, we've never fought that way.
that's never been a way that I can fight. That's
But
not
I will say
fair.
it's taken practice to be able to fight fair. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we haven't always been the greatest at that, but I think with a lot of communication and like practice,
Yeah. And
we've gotten better. So
and there are a lot of times where it is you said this, it made me feel this way. You said this, and I heard this. I need to understand what you're actually saying. If that.
yeah. And to us, like, how we fight is really normal, but she was like, no, that's really abnormal. Like, things people say to each other is really nasty. And it's like, oh, well, I just don't go that low. So, because you can't take it back, whatever you say. And the other thing is, so if you're like in a fight or whatever, women tend to do this like silent treatment. Well, I'm not going to talk to you at all then. Well, that's not any better.
Least
You can
effective.
take some time, like take a day if you really feel like you
Right.
need a minute. We've talked about this too. Leave the room, go down to the bedroom, and just give me a minute.
But the preface with that was, in the times that she's done that, or that I've done that, it is, hey, listen, I need a few minutes. I don't want you around right now, or I'm gonna leave the room, and that doesn't mean I don't love you, but I need some time. So respect that time. Don't come check on me like I do a lot.
He checks on me all the time.
But I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
So not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I just don't want you around. I want to sort through this myself. That's a better way to do that. Yeah.
Don't walk out the door. So this one was weird. Like, okay, sometimes we do a little research. We find things that other people post. So I'm just gonna say this one somebody else wrote, don't walk out the door. And I think what they really meant was like, don't, I don't know,
So-
get a divorce and leave, make it final when things get hard.
Yeah.
But we think don't walk out the door to us is like, that's not really something to avoid completely.
You don't exit the fight, but
Right.
you also need some time so that you don't get into that spot where you do get into the I'm gonna cut you because I know it hurts you.
Good.
I'm hurt right now, and I'm gonna get to the point that I can make you feel the pain I feel. That's not fair. If the only effective thing to do is to walk away, take some time, or leave, do that.
Yeah.
Not to do something unhealthy. Like in those times, I'm not gonna leave and tell her I'm gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an effective way to deal with that.
I took a weekend back in October when things got really, really hard. I was like, I love you, but I need some space, because sometimes that's the only way you can collect your thoughts.
Right.
Pray, journal, yell, scream, cry, whatever. But like, there's something safe about doing it alone and being able to really think clearly.
That's where you want to do your husband or wife bashing. You get into that personal spot, and there you go. Go ahead, in a closed door room by yourself where no one else can hear. I am really unhappy with that so-and-so because of X, Y, and Z. That's okay.
So Bobby said sleeping mad. I think that's going to bed angry. We've talked about that in another one. It's kind of like, we usually try to settle our stuff before we go to bed, but sometimes you really do need to sleep on it, and you do need to leave it where it is before you go to bed. That's just, just depends on the scenario.
Because you may have already gone through that enough. You've already kicked that horse so many times that now
you're not getting anywhere. Now you're tired. It's night.
Let's go to bed.
And you're just gonna
make
it worse. So, yes and no to that one.
Yeah.
Don't air your grievances to your children. We don't have little ones, but if we did.
I made the rule with my youngest daughter that I would always be honest with her. That if she would carry that with me, that I would always be honest with her. So she never asked about this. She just understood that things were going on, that it wasn't perfect, and that we were working on it. And that was all that I needed to say to her was, hey, some stuff's going on. It's not great. We ain't getting divorced, but we need work. So we're going to work on it. And if that's what you need to know, that's fine. We told her we were going through therapy, because therapy can't be a bad thing.
Right.
Therapy is
being
the
honest
strongest
with your kids.
thing you can do. So why don't you tell them?
Yeah, be honest with them and be real about it, but you don't have to be like bashing your spouse. Well, he did this, because I could have easily told her some things when we were alone, but I was like, she doesn't need to know that. Like, what she needs to know is marriage isn't always easy, and that we're working towards a healthy marriage.
Yeah, and don't completely interpret that I'm the big bad
He's
villain.
the worst husband ever.
I'm terrible, but
it's
equal parts.
Too. I'm in therapy too.
I'm sorry, it's effort. That's what we always say. Not work.
Effort.
It's effort.
Marriage is effort, not
and that's
work.
what we're trying to do. Don't find comfort in someone of the opposite gender. I will tell you this, and I'm sure there's female friends of mine that will back me up. I mention my wife a lot. It's not just because I love her. It's because I want people to understand that there's a boundary there. There's a huge boundary there. I am super married. Like there isn't even
married.
A chance. I am
we
super
got it
duper married.
tattooed because we're super married.
Super. More. Where's the other one? More. Another tattoo.
Tattoos everywhere.
But that might be a place where someone might fall into, and most likely men, but sometimes women might be guilty of it too, is you think you're leaning on a friend, and that may be the worst thing you could do.
Well, let's be honest. I can't remember if I shared my story.
Pieces of it?
I don't think I shared completely, but I was married when we met, okay? And he was a friend in the beginning, and we texted a lot, and I told him a lot of things. Well, we're married now, so you can kind of assume what happened there. So yeah, it's dangerous. Don't go there. If you need to vent to someone, find a girlfriend. Guys, find a guy friend, or go to a pastor, or call your parents, or whatever. You know who you can reach out to, and it doesn't have to be
a safe space.
Yeah.
That
you're just playing with fire. You may be like, it's perfectly normal. It's fine. They listen. It just gets vulnerable, and people, feelings start to get caught. So there you go. Don't focus on your spouse's faults.
Oh my goodness, that is very, very difficult. In difficult times.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Super difficult in difficult times.
In difficult times, that's all you lean on. Well, if she would just, and if he would, and there are things that, and I really hate. Well, but why are you there in the first place? Why do you love them in the first place? What did you do? What did they do that caught you? Focus on that. Find that again.
Now this says, when you're hurt, angry, and confused, try to remember at least 5 characteristics of your spouse that you've always loved. That's going to help you, get out of that negative.
So,
because obviously, you married them for a reason. They're not all bad. Sometimes it's harder to find the good than the bad. That's just real.
So try that. Put that in your little marriage book. You have
that
to,
in your
before
marriage
you
book.
can say something negative about your spouse or your significant other or your partner, you need to find 5 things that are great.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, then see if that negative is that big. If it's not, start over. Find 5 more things. I bet you can. Yeah, dropping it.
Don't go on a spending spree. I like to spend money. I'm not gonna lie.
Amazon is the devil.
Amazon is seriously.
Although I also love it. I do.
It's an unnecessary evil, though.
We had to make a rule
today.
Today. So here's another thing you could do as a couple, and it's great. We do a budget meeting. We try to every pay
Budget
period.
meeting every other week. Yep.
So as part of our budget meeting this pay period, we decided, or I kind of decided, hey, let's try in February not to buy anything off of Amazon. Not a thing. It took us an hour to go, hey,
all of a sudden I was like,
you know what we need?
Oh, you know what I need? I need a bowl with a lid. Oh, Amazon. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?
What are we doing? That's how it worked.
That really wasn't the point of this. But the point of this is don't like go buy something that you know that your spouse would be really irritated by just to like spite them.
Yes.
That's dumb.
Yes. Don't send your spouse angry texts. Here's if we're gonna brag about anything within our marriage, this is something that I think we do very, very well.
I'm just kidding.
We fight through text, which we said, but I cannot tell you how many times, especially within the last few months, and especially during one period of time, where a text was written and written and written, and then I looked at it, I took a breath, and I deleted it. And there was one time, only one time, that I went through there and I typed it out, and I was so angry, and we went back and that type of thing. And I looked at it and I reread it, and I thought about it, and I read it again, and then I sent it because it was what I felt.
And that's part of it.
How I felt, and it was my honest truth.
Read it and reread it again, and maybe read it 3rd time. And wait till you're calm. If you're in that moment of heat, you're probably going to type something you really don't mean. So even like type it out, put your phone down, walk away for 5-10 minutes, come back and reread it. Like there's just...
I think that was actually something that I did, that I typed it out. I went and I was at work. I typed it out. I set it down. I did a couple of work things. I looked at it. I read it. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually it. That is what I want to say. Yeah.
And it's okay to be like angry. We're not saying don't ever get angry.
Right.
You just don't stay in your anger, and you got to say things in a nice way.
And be fair within your anger. You can't just... You are such a... You always, and you never...
Always and never. Sorry, sometimes I do that.
You do,
working on that.
That's okay.
But then he'll be like, I don't always, and I'm like, you're right. Most of the time, though.
A good portion of the time. Well, qualifiers don't
Almost
work either.
Always.
Stop it.
So that's the 9 things to avoid. I'm sure there's a lot more.
Yeah.
Like we've said a few times, though, like really finding your tribe, your people that like will not just let you wallow is one of the most important things I feel like as married couples.
During our difficulty, I went to my most trusted person and I said, okay, give me the honest truth. Is what she is seeing or what she is saying to me, is any of this true? Because if it is, I have to work on that. I can feel that then. It's not that she's not correct. I just need to see it in a couple of different spots because she might have rose-colored glasses or maybe dark-colored glasses at that point. But
you live with your spouse. You know, it's different hearing it from an outside source who doesn't live with you. Yep. But his friend has known him since, what, kindergarten?
No,
not that far back?
13, 14,
Still,
15,
and so he's seen him, and I went to my best friend, same thing. Like, you know, you need those people, though, who are going to be honest with you.
Yes. And
not sugarcoat it and not wallow with you and just, you know.
You need the ones that will verbally or physically punch you in the face when you need it. Yep. Because she's my kick me in the ass person. So I need to punch me in the face. Well, whatever.
Kick you in the ass?
That's what I said.
Like said, kiss me. I was like, oh no.
I have a list. Sorry. There's 3 others here.
I just wrote them just in case.
And
we don't have to
one of them is important. Hold yourself accountable, and that is something that you need to do. Take a look in the mirror before you start firing back, because if you're wrong, they're gonna let you know.
Well, you know, marriage is 50-50. It is, or
100-100.
100-100. Yes. And sometimes it's 70-30, 30. Like you have
You're
to
doing
give.
math. Good job.
I know,
love
it's
you.
so awesome. Now I lost my train of thought.
Marriage is-
But pointing fingers never works. Like you're both at fault a lot of times. There's stuff you can both work on.
What's that corny saying? Every time you point a finger, you got 3 pointed back at you. Because I
But
always
it's
shoot a
true.
gun. Bang, bang.
But it's true. So
Yeah.
hold yourself accountable for things that you're doing wrong, and don't always point fingers at your spouse. I mean, I think I've talked about this in another one too. Sorry if we're always repeating ourselves. We should stop though. It's 20 minutes.
I mean,
But
fine.
Power of a Praying Wife was a life-changing book for me. The very first chapter is, what are you doing wrong? Like, look within yourself first. What can I change? Because it's so easy to just, you did this. And...
As much as you'd like to not think it, sometimes you are the problem.
Yep.
So fix it. Fix there first, because that's what you can control. You? Me?
I'm
Us?
kidding. So yeah, that's that, guys.
Plans moving forward. I don't know if we're going to continue to do every week or every
Sunday.
other week, or
Yeah, we
every
might just
3
do like
weeks.
every other Sunday or something. But if you guys are enjoying this, like, let us know.
Right.
Drop a comment of something you'd like us to talk about. If you don't care about it, then don't say anything.
It's still, again, good therapy for us, so we'll continue
I know,
to do it
sometimes
because
it's
we
just,
enjoy doing it.
we just enjoyed talking it out.
We like to talk.
We do.
Kinda-
We talk a lot.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway, all right, guys, have a wonderful week.
Good luck.
And we'll talk soon.
Yay.
Bye.